and Esperanza Martinez for their assistance. In this space, we will have the opportunity to explore opportunities in the aerospace and defense sector within the business support of the ecosystem and in terms of foreign and international companies. So I want to tell you a little bit about the agenda. First, we will begin with a brief explanation of the EEN Colombia for those who don't know it yet. Then we will give our way to our panelists. We will start with Clemen, then we're going to go with Juanfra, Esperanza, and Rosalia. And at the end, there will be a space for you to ask questions or to make comments to our panelists. So I would like you to remind that the panelists, you have maximum of 10 minutes. And now I want to give the word to Pau, that she's going to explain the EEN.
Thank you, Ty. Antes de empezar, I'm going to say that in Spanish because para las personas que quieran activar la traducción simultánea, en la parte inferior hay dos opciones. Van a encontrar 3 puntos que dicen más o more y ahí van a la opción de caption. Y ahí tienen que activar translation o traducción. Just for the ones that want to translate this meeting. Okay, so let me start. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, 1 second, please. Where is it? Sorry, I cannot share it. I don't know why. No.
I think that now you can. Sorry, give us a minute because Pau is having some technical issues.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I just leave this meeting. So please tell me if you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just 1 second, please. Okay, so thank you for the space. Good morning, everyone. For the ones that already know the Enterprise Europe Network, this is going to be a brief reminder of the key objectives. And for those who have never heard about it, I invite you to explore this great opportunity and the opportunities of this platform. So the Enterprise Europe Network is the largest business support in the world, designed to help small and medium-sized enterprises with international ambitions. It has more than 15 years of operation, and it's been administered by the European Commission. And its goal has been to help small and medium-sized enterprises to access and be competitive both in the European and international market. Something that I believe is truly remarkable of this platform is that it's present in more than 40 countries. And that means it's not just focused for the 27 European members. That means it gives more opportunity to entrepreneurs to connect one to each other around the world. And also this platform offers different services that help like entrepreneurs to have more capacities in areas such as innovation, technology transfer, market intelligence, sustainable development, and among others. This platform has been present, for example, in Colombia since 2 years ago, and in this moment it's being coordinated by Impact Hub Medellin in partnership with the Pontifical Bolivarian University in Colombia. It's also important to say that we work together with a national consortium that is made up of more than 23 public and private entities, for example, including national or binational Chamber of Commerce, for example, in Bogota, Medellin, Cali, also binational like the Holland House, German Chamber of Commerce, national agencies like ProColombia, Impulsa, universities, among others. And this is important because it helps us to support and complement our work and allow us to reach more entrepreneurs in the country. A little bit more about Impact Hub, the coordinator. Impact Hub is another global network. It's an incubator and accelerator focused on social impactful business aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal. It was founded in 2005 and it has present in 63 countries around the world. And in Colombia, it's present now in Medellin, Bogota, and Cali. And its objective is to create a meaningful connection and empower entrepreneurs to scale their impact in both in a local and in an international way. It's also important to say that Enterprise Europe Network in Colombia works closely with the European Union delegation in Colombia, not only aligning our goals, but also helping us to position ourselves in the country. So for those who are interested in starting or advancing your internationalization journey, I encourage you to write us to this email address that is in Spanish, direccion@encolombia.com, and there we will conducting you for the steps to start your internationalization process through the EM platform. So that's it. Well, something important to say is that we have also developed different programs in terms of internationalization. For example, in this moment, we have an initiative that is called Euroexport Program, and is designed to enhance the export capabilities of Colombian small and medium-sized enterprises and help them to access to European market. We have also developed different international missions through different countries like Switzerland, Holland, Germany, in terms of public health wellness, a multi-sectoral mission in the dairy industry, and among others. So finally, I invite you to scan this QR that is gonna direct you to the private EN WhatsApp group. There you will find different events, training sessions, and also valuable network opportunity for you and your business. So that's all for my side. Thank you. So now we can start with Clement.
Yes, 1 second, I will share his presentation.
So thank you for having me today to introduce myself. So my name is Clement. Thank you, Rosalia. I work for the Paris Chamber of Commerce. I'm the international advisor for space, aeronautics, and defense. Next slide, please. Attempting to describe, the European space ecosystem in just a few minutes is really an extremely difficult exercise, and we run the risk of being very superficial. So I decided to focus on two aspects in this introduction. First, I would like to present you the two major European programs and institutions in Europe, that is to say the European Space Agency and the European Space Program. Because despite the increase of private demand and private supply with the emergence of a new space economy, the space sector in Europe is still driven by public calls and public fundings. And from an extra-European point of view, I think it's worth having a look at the scopes of each of these two institutions and understanding their raison d'être. By the way, we are also strongly guided in our own activities in EEN by what this institution consider to be their own priorities. So let's start with the European Space Agency, founded in 1975, merging of two entities, the European Space Research Organization and the European Launch Development Organization. And you immediately understand that the European Space Agency was all about, at the very beginning, developing autonomous launch capabilities in Europe in the context of the Cold War. So today, the European Space Agency has 22 member states, marked in dark blue in the map that is displayed. The cooperating states are marked in dark gray. Slovenia became officially candidate in 2023. And as you will know, the ESA borders are not those of the European Union, since countries such as Switzerland, Norway, or the United Kingdom are also members. And you will also notice that the status of cooperating states extends beyond Europe to include Canada. If we can move to the next slide, please, Rosalia. Just so you have in mind, the budget of the European Space Agency, it's more than 7.5 billion. The agency with this budget has a mission to develop for exclusively peaceful purposes, only peaceful purposes, cooperation between European states in the fields of space research and space technology and their space application too, of course. One last word regarding I would say the organization financing. It is based on a fair return principle known as geo return, meaning that each European Space Agency member state has a guarantee that at least 85% of its contribution to programs will be returned in the form of contract for companies of its own nation. Can we move to the previous slide? Sorry, Rosalia. And if we have a look at the different mission of the European Space Agency, of course, space science, you have maybe heard about the last mission of JUICE, Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer. Will make detailed observation of the gas planet, so Jupiter. Human and robotic exploration. You have probably heard about ExoMars, a program led by the European Space Agency in collaboration, of course, with the NASA from the United States. Observing the Earth, it's interesting to maybe to say a few words about it, because actually the European Space Agency works hand in hand and very closely with the European Space Program. And Copernicus is maybe the best example for that, because even if it's under the control of the European Space Program, it's the European Space Agency which is responsible for the development of the space segment component of Copernicus, so the satellites Sentinel-1, 2, 3, and also partly responsible for the ground segment. Connectivity, satellite navigation, of course, you have probably heard about Galileo. In this case, also ESA is responsible for the definition, the production, and in-orbit validation of Galileo space segment and the associated ground segment, once again. And last mission of the European Space Agency, the space transportation, as you probably heard last summer, July the 9th, 2024. The first Ariane 6 rocket was successfully launched, and it is restoring Europe access to space. Can we move to the next slide, please? Next one. And the second institution, which is very important, it's the European Union Space Program, which is composed of EU satellite navigation system, Galileo and EGNOS, the Earth Observation Program Copernicus, we already said a few words about it, the EU governmental satellite communication GovSatcom, which which aims at ensuring the long-term availability of secure governmental satellite communication services. This GovSatcom system is based on the pooling and sharing of existing governmental and commercial satellite communication capacities. IRIS-2, which is the infrastructure for resilience, interconnectivity, and security by satellite. Basically, it's a multi-orbit satellite internet constellation to be deployed by the European Union by 2027. and it is a direct response to the increasing number of satellite internet constellation, like Starlink, for instance, of course. One word about space situational awareness, which is made of many subdomains. But maybe the most important one is called SST, Space Surveillance and Tracking, which is actually a system of network sensor to survey, track space objects. So you have something like 200 organizations that are receiving the SST services and information for collision avoidance, re-entry analysis in the atmosphere, fragmentation analysis. And this is, the main focus on space situational awareness. And one last word before jumping to the last slide, to say that the European Union is also promoting some financing initiative. The most important one is Cassini, which is an initiative to support entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs in the space industry through different kind of programs like EU Seeds and Growth Fund, hackathon, mentoring prizes, business accelerators, and stuff like that. Regarding fundamental elements, it's a EU R&D funding mechanism supporting the development of GNSS, enabled chipsets, receivers, and antennas also. So it gives you an overview of what are our two main institutions, what are their priorities, and what they work on, and what we work on as a consequence. If we can jump to the next slide. So the next slide, I have decided, and this will be my conclusion, to focus. You know, I'm not a professor. I'm not gonna pretend to give you an exhaustive overview of all the trends in the space sector. I would like to highlight some trends that our network, our EEN network, has the opportunity to work on through and thanks to the companies and the research institutes we support on a daily basis. So you have probably heard about space as a service, the first one, which is something equivalent to software as a service, actually. It could apply to every single, I would say, part of the space chain value. So it could be ground segment as a service, it could be a satellite as a service, a payload as a service. And this new business model is really made for entities interested in using satellite data for specific areas, for specific domains, but lacking technical expertise, financial means to develop and invest in their own system. So I think about, for instance, some universities, government of space emerging nation, agri-food, insurance, security industry. And for the newcomers in the space activity, it's simpler to use the space as a service than navigating through the complex and technical and regulatory landscape if they have to develop their own space assets. In this respect, we have a very, very mature new space ecosystem in Europe, and I think it could be a great source of collaboration between Colombian companies, Colombian public institutions, and European companies on the other hand. Commercial Earth observation, I'm going to go very quickly on that. Fast-moving innovation in this sector. Probably the main driver for Earth observation development in Europe is sustainability. When you have to monitor, agri-food and rural development, water resources management, climate resilience, marine resources, gas leakage, forest, shape. For all these sustainable activities, you absolutely need Earth observation data. And once again, I think this is probably an area where Latin America companies and public institutions can at the same time take advantage and enrich the European expertise in this field. One very quick word about autonomous access to space, because once again, I think there is room for collaboration between our two regions, continents, countries. to reach the goal to have an autonomous access to space, there is currently in Europe a proliferation of what we call spaceports projects in the United Kingdom, in Norway, in Portugal, in Germany, maybe forgot Sweden, with onshore and offshore platform, with horizontal and vertical launches. So many different projects. We can also mention in France, in the French Guiana, the modernization, the transformation of the launch pad we call the Diamond, as part of our France 2030 project. So there are many actually modernization ongoing projects. There are also some companies in Europe, like Space Dream, for instance. They develop, spaceports and launch capacities to be able to launch somewhat everywhere, launcher and from all sides. And I'm mentioning this trend because once again, these projects require a large variety of cross-industry companies in the fields of mechanics, assembly, integration and test, manufacturing of ground equipment. And I think this is very interesting for Colombian counterparts to have a look at it. Space resource utilization, or what we call in situ resource utilization, it's everything related to the utilization of resources from the moon, Mars, and other bodies in situ or elsewhere in the solar system. One of the key challenges is the unique cross-disciplinary nature of space resource utilization, because it integrates space system, robotics, automotive solutions, material handling, chemical process engineering, and as we are talking about very low TRL, it's also an open door for research institute to work on this project. And last but not least, let's talk about the next generation launcher. Of course, the micro launcher, the nano launcher developed by the new space companies. In their position, they have to build an entire supply chain value from scratch to manufacture this vehicle, and they don't have internally the whole expertise in every single technology, in every single component. And even the most traditional actor, the biggest actor, the primes, they are facing new challenges also, starting with the development of partially reusable launcher. And this unique objective, without mentioning the others, opened the door to a large variety of cooperation on innovation materials, thermal protection system, data acquisition, to monitor the health of the structure, modular and avionics for GNC, guidance navigation and control system, and so far and so on. So you see that and this will be my conclusion, through the trends that we are working on only with EEN clients, there is room for cooperation under the umbrella of the European Space Agency, under the umbrella of European Space Program, to develop this technology, not only with European companies, but also with international companies. Thank you very much, and I let you the floor.
Thank you very much, Clement. Thank you for your presentation. Now we can go with Juanfran.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. Can you hear me well?
Yes, perfect.
And I'm trying to share the presentation.
Now we see it.
Fine?
Mhm.
Perfect. So my intention here is to give a brief overview about the possibilities for aviation within the European Union funding program. And Colombia is eligible for funding, of course, as a country if they participate in most of the programs. Let me move to the next one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you know very well Horizon Europe, but just a reminder, this is the European Union funding program for research and innovation, and it's running from 2021 and 2027 with a budget of more than 95 billion euros in current prices. So it is divided in three pillars. It's a three-pillar structure. The first pillar, pillar one, it's called excellence science that aims to increase the European Union's global scientific competitiveness. It's focused on basic research for all technologies and areas. Pillar 3, it's called Innovative Europe, that aims to make Europe a front runner in market creating innovation via the European Innovation Council. For example, it's mainly supporting SMEs, but not only in innovation projects. And Pillar 2, global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. In this case, it supports research relating the societal challenges, and it tries to reinforce technological and industrial capacities through several clusters. So it's structured in clusters. One of them is cluster 5, which is called climate, energy, and mobility. And nearly all the budget for aviation project will be found there. Yes. If we go into the detail of this cluster 5, as I said, it is also divided in several destinations, several blocks. The first one is climate science, the second one cross-cutting solutions, the third one energy supply, fourth one energy demand, and we have the fifth one, which is clean and competitive solutions for all transport modes, and the sixth one is transport and smart mobility services. So we can find opportunities for funding for aviation and also for mobility, because both of them are focused on that, in destinations 5 and 6. Let me explain a little bit about what can we find there. Destination 5, as I said, it is clean and competitive solutions for all transport modes, and it also divided in 4 areas. The first one is zero emissions road transport. The main aim is to accelerate the development and deployment of zero tailpipe emission road transport, and it of course includes pollutant emission reductions, cleaner air, reduced noise, or accessibility. The third one is waterborne. It's similar to the previous one, but focused on waterborne and trying to demonstrate by 2030 the deployable solutions needed for all main types of waterborne transport to become, of course, net zero emission by 2050, which is the final objectives of every of the mobility modes, and also for nearly all sectors in Horizon Europe. The fourth area, as you see there, it's horizontal to all transport modes, and it's focused on the impact of transport on environment and human health also. And finally, the second one is the one that it's focused on aviation. So part of this of the total aviation budget in Horizon Europe will be found here, mainly for low TRL technologies, for collaborative aviation research and innovation that focuses on transformative technologies, mainly also pre-competitive research for future development, but sometimes we can find there some validation and integration activities. There are 4 main impacts that have to be generated by the technologies or the topics addressed under this area, aviation, which are to reduce by 2035 the 30% in fuel burn, but also in CO2. We have also the opportunity to develop disruptive technologies entering into service by 2035 as well as 2050, of course, and based on new carriers, hybrid electric architectures, next generation of ultra-high efficient engines, and in most of the cases, new aircraft configuration. We will find also opportunities to study and understand the aviation's non-CO2 climate impacts, which are very, very important for the aviation sector, and of course to maintain the global competitiveness of the participant in the sector. All of them, as I explained, all the technologies that can be addressed here will be low TRLs, from TRL1 to TRL4 mainly, because the higher TRLs will be funded under other instrument, other initiative that I will explain later. Destination 6, it's, as I said, safe, resilient transport and smart mobility services for passengers and goods. It is divided in this case in 3 areas. The first one is connected, cooperative and automated mobility. It is only focused on surface transport, so nothing for aviation in this case. The second area is multimodal and sustainable transport systems for passengers and goods. The same, we don't have opportunities for aviation there, but we have the third area, which is safety and resilience, and it's per mode and across all transport modes. So everything related to aviation that address topics regarding safety and resilience will be found here, and will be connected with the technologies that are developed under the project of Destination 5. So these are the opportunities that can be found in one of the part of the cluster 5, which is the open world program for a lot of sectors, but one of them being one of them aviation. But there are more opportunities for this aviation sector out of this work package, work program, cluster 5. The most of the budget of aviation goes to the institutional partnerships, which are entities or joint undertakings under the European Union legislation, and they are public-private entities that manage a very big budget for specific purposes. In this case, we have 2 of them. One of them is focused on the construction, if I can say that, of new aircrafts, and the other one is focused on air traffic management. There are another 2 partnership. One is for rail and one for hydrogen. They are not focused on aviation, but from time to time there are some synergies or technologies for aviation, mainly in the hydrogen partnership that can be interesting for aeronautics entities. A few words about the first partnership, which is called Clean Aviation, with 1.7 billion euros from European Union budget. As already said before, low TRLs are found under Destination 5 or work program cluster 5, and higher TRLs will be found here under this partnership, always ensuring the complementarity and avoiding the overlapping of technologies. It is based on 3 key thrusts. The first one is hybrid electric architectures. The second one is ultra-efficient aircraft architectures. And the third one is focused on hydrogen. It is focused on disruptive technologies to enable hydrogen powered aircrafts through hydrogen combustion or fuel cells. It has 2 clear horizons towards the climate neutrality that the European Union is looking for 2050. So they need to demonstrate and introduce low emission aircraft concepts, exploiting the results of the projects by 2030. And the second horizon by 2050 is the climate neutral aviation, by exploring future technologies mature beyond this phase that are being developed under Horizon Europe. and there will be all these technologies will be demonstrated in two pivotal aircraft concepts. One of them is the ultra efficient short medium range aircraft, and the second one will be the hybrid electric regional and short range aircraft. I'm not going to go into the detail of the calls, but just for you to know, this clean aviation has two phases. The first phase to develop concept, technology options, and trade studies. It has been already closed. So the last call was at the beginning of this year, with nearly half of the total budget. And the next phase, which is the phase to accelerate the technology maturation through integrated demonstration, start next year. So the first call is in February, March of 2025. And we are now working on defining the work programs and the topics and the technologies that will be launched in this call, with around 300 million euros. I think there will be another one in 2026 and another one in 2027, and will be the last one. The second partnership is CESAR. It's, as I said, focused on air traffic management, in this case, integrated air traffic management, with 0.5 billion euros European Union budget and 0.5 from Eurocontrol. These partnerships aims to digitally transform air traffic management to make the European airspace the most efficient and environmentally friendly sky to fly, including the new actors such as the UAVs in the airspace. Sorry, I cannot move it. Yeah. Just for you to see what kind of activities can be addressed in this partnership. They are the connected and automated air traffic management, the air ground integration and autonomy, capacity on demand, and dynamic airspace. We have, of course, this new issue, which is the U-space and the urban air mobility, and for sure everything regarding the cybersecure data sharing. I think this is my, let me check. I think this is my last slide. So I prefer to stop here, if you don't mind, because I have to leave in 5 minutes, and I prefer, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer for sure.
Thank you, Juan Francisco. I don't know if the assistant have any question for him.
Everything was very clear for everybody, or nobody understood anything what I said?
Yes, I think, Juan Francisco, that it was really, really clear. So thank you so much. Now we can continue with Esperanza, and thank you for your assistance here, Juan Francisco.
Thank you very much.
Esperanza, if you want, we can continue with you.
Ok. Voy a poner la presentación.
Perfecto.
No sé si la estáis viendo.
Sí, ahí la vemos súper.
Pero la vemos en modo, no la vemos en modo presentación aún.
¿No?
No.
A ver. ¿Ahora?
No.
Y abajo al lado para ampliar pantalla le das en ese botón.
Ujú.
Pero aún no lo abro.
Sí, a mí me está saliendo.
Y es que a veces se queda pillado y no sale en modo presentación.
Pues si quieres puedes empezar mientras.
Vale. Bueno, yo os voy a hablar de las oportunidades de colaboración para las empresas colombianas que estáis viéndonos en Europa a través de programas tecnológicos y de misiones empresariales. Me llamo Esperanza Martín y trabajo en CEDETI en el Departamento de Acción Tecnológica Exterior y en concreto coordino el área de colaboración tecnológica con los países de la TAM Norte, entre los que está incluido Colombia. Entonces, la presentación, ¿veis el cambio de hoja?
No, tampoco se... ¿Has pasado? No se está viendo
Sí,
entonces.
sí.
A ver si no, intento yo poner tu presentación.
Venga, pues si no, la intentas poner tú y
Ahora sí se pasó.
vaya, hombre, ahora
Vale.
que lo he cerrado, vaya cerrando. Vale. Bueno, en principio, primero os voy a hacer una introducción a lo que es el organismo donde yo trabajo para que veáis un poco el apoyo que da tanto en programas europeos como en programas específicos nuestros de CEDETI de colaboración con Colombia. Os voy a presentar un poco los servicios de apoyo que tenemos y luego después os hablaré un poco de los programas internacionales en los que específicamente tenemos colaboración tecnológica abierta con Colombia. Haré la presentación de uno que es un programa financiado por la Unión Europea, que es InnoWide, y dos programas que financiamos nosotros desde CEDETI. Por último, os comentaré alguna otra cosa que hacemos un poco para fomentar la colaboración, como son las misiones empresariales o diálogos de innovación, y luego os dejaré los contactos. Acabo de pasar hoja. CEDETI es el Centro para el Desarrollo Tecnológico y la Innovación. Es una entidad pública que depende del Ministerio de Ciencia, Innovación y Universidades y tenemos ya una trayectoria de casi 50 años desde que se abrió. Nosotros lo que tratamos de hacer es a las empresas españolas reforzar el nivel tecnológico que tienen y, por supuesto, como participante en un departamento internacional, la colaboración internacional es prioritaria para nosotros. Tenemos oficinas centrales, nuestras oficinas están en Madrid. En el último tercio de vida de CEDETI, os puedo decir que, bueno, en los últimos 10 años CEDETI ha aumentado un tercio sus empleados. Actualmente somos alrededor de 350 empleados. Tenemos 10 oficinas internacionales que están repartidas por el resto del mundo y desde esas 10 oficinas coordinamos la colaboración con más de 50 países. Y también em, cooperamos con las agencias regionales españolas. Nosotros lo que tratamos de hacer es que aquellas españolas que tienen tecnologías propias que refuercen la competitividad y su posicionamiento en territorio internacional. Para ello lo que hacemos es incrementar y dinamizar la cooperación tecnológica. ¿Y cómo lo hacemos? Pues lo hacemos gracias al despliegue internacional de empresas tecnológicas que son esencialmente pymes. Detectamos nuevas oportunidades de mercado internacional también para las empresas. A ver qué sí.
Dime, Esperanza, te la tengo yo, o sea, dime cuándo quieres que pase.
Sí, ¿la tienes tú? Ah, no la estoy pasando yo.
Sí,
Pues
no.
punto 2, servicios de apoyo.
Sí, es que no se te pasaba, la pones todavía. Ya.
Vale, vale. Los servicios de apoyo que tenemos como Oficina Nacional de Proyectos, lo primero que hacemos es que os podemos ayudar cuando tenéis un proyecto de colaboración internacional, tanto de Colombia para Europa como empresa española que busque en Colombia, os podemos ayudar con las búsquedas de socios. Vamos a identificar oportunidades y eventos a nivel tanto lo que ocurre en Colombia como a nivel europeo y español. Y luego, además, si tenéis una propuesta de colaboración internacional, os vamos a asesorar para la preparación de esta propuesta para la hora de presentarla a cualquiera de los programas. Vamos a identificar con vosotros las particularidades de cada programa. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que si vosotros con vuestra propuesta tenéis dudas de a qué programa de financiación o de apoyo podríais presentarla, vamos a revisarla con vosotros y os diremos, dependiendo de las características de la propuesta, cuál es el que mejor os podría venir. Además, tenemos una red exterior CEDETI, la que os comentaba antes, tenemos 10 personas que están fuera y que nos sirve para que de alguna manera nos cuenten de primera mano la realidad en cada uno de los países de los que llevan. En el caso de Colombia, tenemos un delegado exterior que vive a caballo entre México y Colombia y bueno, es la persona con la que yo colaboro estrechamente y que realmente es la que identifica las oportunidades tecnológicas en Colombia, de las disponibilidades de recursos financieros, con nivel largo, etcétera. Luego, aparte, para programas específicos de CDTI o programas que tienen gestión descentralizada, contamos con herramientas de financiación que creemos que son buenas para las empresas españolas, que además las ofrecen deducciones fiscales. Hacemos también lo que es una vez que entran las propuestas en los programas que son específicos de CDTI o que tenemos nosotros que evaluar, revisamos lo que es la adecuación y la elegibilidad internacional de las propuestas, evaluamos los proyectos, hacemos el seguimiento de los proyectos y hacemos el cierre. Os voy a comentar ahora algo que creo que puede ser interesante porque son los programas que tenemos de colaboración en los que hemos identificado que puede participar Colombia junto con España o algún país europeo. El primero que tenemos va a ser InnoWide, que es un programa que está financiado por la Unión Europea. Y luego tenemos otros programas internacionales como puede ser el programa unilateral, que está financiado por CDTI, o la iniciativa Iberoeca, que es una iniciativa de CITES. ¿Se pasa a la otra hoja o tampoco?
¿Cuál quieres? ¿InnoWide?
Pasamos a la siguiente hoja, sí, que viene ahora.
No sé si estás viendo mi pantalla, Esperanza.
No, espera, ¿sabes qué pasa? Que soy yo entonces, que estoy viendo. Vale. Dentro, aquí lo que vemos son los programas internacionales para América. Entonces, concretamente nos vamos a centrar en los tres que hay en medio, que es el unilateral, Iberoeca y InnoWide, que son los que aplican en Colombia. Vamos a empezar por InnoWide. InnoWide está cofinanciado por Horizonte Europa. En él participan pymes innovadoras en cooperación internacional. Y una de las cosas que tiene este programa es que la evaluación es centralizada y es competitiva. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que no solamente pasan los proyectos que sean buenos, sino que hay un corte en la evaluación. Hay una bolsa de dinero puesta a disposición. En los proyectos se hace un ranking, con los proyectos mejor evaluados se va haciendo un ranking y van obteniendo la financiación hasta que se acaba esa bolsa. Y ahí es donde queda el corte de la financiación. Las cifras grandes que tenemos en InnoWide, pues estas cifras son para el año 2023, pero son las mismas que se prevén en el 2024. De hecho, el presupuesto es de 4.200 millones de euros de presupuesto. Tenemos 70 proyectos de viabilidad de mercado que se van a financiar y se esperan financiar en 2024. 70 se financiaron en 2023 y se espera que para 2024 también sean esa cifra. Y hay un presupuesto fijo vía subvención para la empresa solicitante de este programa, que son 60.000 euros. Los proyectos que se esperan financiar durante el proceso, durante toda la longevidad de este programa, son 400. InnoWide es, como os decía, un programa financiado por la Unión Europea que en su recorrido tiene de presupuesto 25 millones de euros y que realmente se trata, son proyectos de acciones de viabilidad en terceros países. Lo traducimos, son acciones de viabilidad en Colombia. Sería el caso que nos ocupa ahora. Bueno, tanto Colombia como podría ser, hay más países latinoamericanos en los que se podría participar, pero nos vamos a centrar en Colombia. La colaboración, por tanto, es transcontinental y el core es I+D o negocios. Este tipo de programas los va a desarrollar o los va a solicitar una pyme innovadora. Esta pyme innovadora es una pyme que va a ser una pyme europea o de un país asociado y va a estar en cooperación con un subcontratista, una empresa subcontratada en país de destino de la actuación. Lo volvemos a poner en términos para que lo entendamos. La empresa subcontratada puede ser una empresa colombiana Y luego deciros que, aunque no tiene enfoque geográfico o tecnológico, en nuestro caso lo vamos a aplicar a Colombia, claro. ¿Qué significa proyectos de viabilidad de mercado? Pues significa que en este proyecto hay que hacer una valoración técnica de mercado, legal y o socioeconómica en inicio, antes de desarrollar una solución tecnológica y que la pyme vea si esa solución tecnológica tiene viabilidad. Y hacer ese tipo de proyectos que es más grande bueno, necesita unos recursos mayores, pues haríamos este tipo de proyecto y veríamos si tiene viabilidad o no. Y por otro lado, además, también veríamos si el producto, el servicio desarrollado, pues resulta que se va a poder comercializar y que lo que es la cooperación que se ha desarrollado entre las empresas participantes, que realmente se está dando bien. O sea, que tiene un futuro de poder seguir fomentando una buena colaboración en I+D. Como os decía, es interesante este tipo de programa porque si vosotros tenéis en cabeza una idea hacer un desarrollo tecnológico grande, realmente haciendo este inicio con este programa, pues podéis ver si realmente es una actividad con recorrido largo y puede ser exitosa. Los beneficiarios son una pyme de un país de Horizonte Europa o un país asociado. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? ¿Que Colombia no es beneficiario? Pues hombre, directamente no es beneficiario porque no le van a dar a él lo que es el importe de la subvención. Pero evidentemente, si va subcontratado por la empresa europea asociada que ha presentado la propuesta, pues ya tendrá sus acuerdos y evidentemente, claro que es beneficiario, aparte de pues todo lo que representa en hacer un proyecto de colaboración internacional. Este tipo de programas tiene una duración máxima de 6 meses, son cortitos y la subvención es fija de 60.000 euros. Son unos proyectos donde su presupuesto elegible es mayor de 86.000 euros. Están alrededor la media de unos 90.000 euros este tipo de programas, de proyectos. Y las convocatorias son anuales, se suelen hacer en otoño. Dentro de la tipología de InnoWide podemos ver dos aproximaciones, las hemos visto antes un poco rápido. Nos va a servir para comprobar si tras hacer el proyecto de I+D, este proyecto puede tener un resultado positivo para ser comercializado en el país objeto de mercado, de producto. Y también nos va a servir para ver la evaluación de la futura colaboración de I+D entre las empresas participantes, para valorar si el socio local o la entidad subcontratada en Colombia y la empresa que va a hacer la solicitud en Europa, si realmente pueden colaborar en un futuro proyecto internacional de I+D con resultados positivos. Entonces, resumimos un poquito, ya lo he dicho, pero porque lo veáis. Son dos participantes, uno en el país europeo o asociado, el siguiente sería Colombia. Es monobeneficiario en el sentido de que lo que es la ayuda se le va a dar al país, al solicitante en el país europeo y que tiene 6 meses de duración y un coste medio de proyecto de 90.000 euros. Os dejo aquí lo que sería el calendario de llamadas, donde veis que está abierta este año hasta el 15 de octubre. Son llamadas que se hacen todos los años, entonces, bueno, pues si hay alguna idea de proyecto, se puede ir trabajando en ella. Si no se llega este año con la idea en octubre, pues se puede ir trabajando en ella para presentarla más adelante. La resolución prevista de este programa es en febrero para que inicien los proyectos en abril o mayo. Os dejo también aquí por si luego cuando tengáis las diapositivas, si queréis ver un video tutorial que os va a facilitar lo que es el aprender cómo se hace la solicitud. Y ahora vamos a pasar a ver los siguientes programas. Los siguientes programas vamos a ver primero el programa unilateral con Colombia. Este programa está financiado por CEDETI. Se trata de proyectos en cooperación tecnológica que tienen certificación y seguimiento unilateral. ¿Por qué? Porque realmente el organismo gestor del programa es CDT y es el que va a revisar desde el inicio del proyecto a hacer un seguimiento y un cierre. Son proyectos bilaterales porque aquí participaría España y participaría Colombia. Tienen socios en 2 países diferentes, como hemos visto, y no se encuentran dentro de lo que sería un programa multilateral porque solo hay 2 socios o un bilateral, porque no tenemos en concreto para este programa un acuerdo firmado con un organismo colombiano que respalde o que de alguna manera sea el organismo gestor del programa en Colombia. La siguiente punto es una convocatoria para Colombia, es una convocatoria cerrada y es necesaria una cooperación internacional efectiva. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que tanto la participación española como la participación colombiana debe tener sentido dentro del proyecto y deben ejecutar las actividades que digan que van a desarrollar. El seguimiento lo va a hacer CEDETI en ambos países. Hay una reunión de inicio de proyecto y luego al final, en la reunión de inicio de proyecto se hace en las instalaciones de la sede de la empresa colombiana, pues de esa manera también se ve la empresa colombiana, se ve que cuenta con medios tanto materiales como tecnológicos y físicos para desarrollar el proyecto. Y luego al finalizar el proyecto se vuelve a visitar la empresa colombiana para ver que sí que se ha finalizado también allí correctamente y se ha hecho lo que en principio se decía que se iba a hacer. En España se hace un seguimiento muy detallado de la empresa que participa en España. Y luego se finaliza con unos informes de dimensión internacional, que los hace el delegado nuestro que tenemos allí. El calendario de fechas, por si os interesara este programa y lo veis interesante y quisierais participar, en este año están cerradas, pero todos los años tenemos 2 cortes, una suele ser en abril y la otra se suele cerrar en septiembre. No obstante, si hay alguna idea de proyecto o algún proyecto ya bastante conformado y maduro, si lo queréis presentar, os podéis poner en contacto con nosotros y vemos si se puede presentar antes o cómo haríamos. El organismo gestor, como he dicho, es CDT. Y bueno, vamos a pasar al siguiente. La siguiente iniciativa donde se puede colaborar en proyectos de colaboración tecnológica de España-Colombia es la iniciativa Iberbeca. Es una iniciativa que está formada o pueden participar en ella los 21 países que participan en el programa CITED de Iberoamérica. Entre estos países está Colombia, evidentemente. Entonces, os puedo decir que cada país tiene su organismo gestor internacional. En España somos CEDETI y en Colombia es Conciencias. Los beneficiarios son empresas. Las empresas pueden subcontratar a otras empresas para hacer el proyecto, a universidades, a centros de investigación. La duración de este tipo de proyectos es de 1 a 2 años. Y las condiciones de ayuda en los países no están estandarizadas. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que la financiación que se pueda dar a lo mejor a las empresas en España no es la misma financiación que se da en otras empresas de otros países, porque cada país tiene sus propias reglas de ayudas e incluso de participación. Las de participación suelen ser muy estables y homogéneas en todos los países, pero las ayudas sí que además varían en el tiempo. Nosotros, por ejemplo, en este último año hemos hecho una modificación a las ayudas que estábamos dando a las empresas españolas. Entonces, para participar en este programa habría que preguntar al LOGI del país en concreto. En Colombia habría que preguntar a Conciencias cómo en este momento, porque no es foto fija, en este momento están las ayudas y las condiciones de participación. Y bueno, la convocatoria es abierta durante todo el año. Si pasamos al calendario de llamadas, he dicho, es ventana abierta para entregar solicitudes durante todo el año, la gestión es continua todo el año y en cualquier sector tecnológico. La gestión y la financiación es descentralizada, como he dicho, y en España tenemos ayudas parcialmente reembolsables para las empresas españolas. organismo gestor en España CDTI y gestor en Colombia Conciencias. Luego, por ver un poco qué cubre estos dos programas últimos que os he dicho, qué tipo de gastos cubrirían, pues tenéis gastos de personal, gastos de material, gastos de patentes, costes de consultoría, gastos de funcionamiento, gastos generales y gastos de auditores. La elegibilidad para poder participar en estos dos tipos de programas, pues os comento, las ayudas de CDTI se hacen a empresas. Además, las empresas podrían, como comentaba antes, subcontratar a universidades, a centros tecnológicos, a organismos públicos de investigación, siempre subcontratados. En Colombia habría que preguntar cómo están ahora las condiciones, pero son también las ayudas a empresas y las empresas también, si no lo han cambiado, también podrían subcontratar y no creo que lo hayan cambiado, o sea que seguramente será igual. ¿Para qué el core de lo que se va a financiar, en lo que va a versar el proyecto? Pues es la creación y mejora significativa de procesos productivos de productos o servicios. Todos ellos tengan un plus en I+D sobre lo que ya hay actualmente en el estado del arte. Presupuesto mínimo en España para la empresa socia española es de 175.000 euros. O sea, si el proyecto es de 250.000 euros, imaginaos, pues a lo mejor la empresa española como mínimo tendría que ejecutar un 175.000 euros de ese proyecto. Y la empresa colombiana, lo único que hay que respetar, para que sea colaboración efectiva, una participación de un 70-30%. Si España hace un 70% de ese presupuesto, del presupuesto global, en Colombia estaría el 30% o al revés, pero siempre en esa horquilla, metidos en esa horquilla. La duración de proyectos es de 1 a 3 años y las empresas que participan tienen que ser independientes entre sí. Y luego, financiación, solo os voy a decir que es para empresas españolas, es crédito parcialmente reembolsable de hasta 85% del presupuesto elegible y hay un tramo no reembolsable de un 30% de esta cantidad. Vamos a pasar a la siguiente diapositiva y ya os voy a explicar lo último, que es otra forma que tenemos de alguna manera potenciar lo que es la colaboración tecnológica internacional. Lo hacemos a través de diálogos de innovación. Es una herramienta que hemos llamado así, que realmente se basa en misiones que hacemos. Pues os explico esta, por ejemplo. Esta fue del año pasado, estuvimos en Colombia a en octubre del año pasado en Bogotá. Hicimos un diálogo de innovación en economía circular y descarbonización. Por lo general, estos diálogos de innovación es un punto de encuentro entre actores relevantes, en este caso fue entre España y Colombia, en un sector concreto que pensamos que es un sector que interesa a los dos países. Suelen ser cuando se hace este evento, se suele hacer en físico, o sea, nos desplazamos hasta Colombia en aquella ocasión, el año pasado, con empresas y otros agentes españoles y también lo retransmitimos online. La participación de los agentes que tuvimos fue participación institucional, hubo también agencias públicas de innovación, representantes sectoriales como plataformas tecnológicas, empresas y centros tecnológicos de investigación y universidades. Y los objetivos de este diálogo será, en esta ocasión, presentar las capacidades tecnológicas del tejido innovador tanto de España como de Colombia, dar a conocer la situación y los retos en ambos países y además encontrar sinergias de colaboración. Y bueno, es un poco un resumen de los programas que tenemos, tanto a nivel europeo, ampliando lo que ya habían comentado mis compañeros, como a nivel propio de nuestro CDTI para la colaboración tecnológica con Colombia. Si necesitáis o queréis contactarme, pues aquí tenéis tenéis los datos de Germán, que es el delegado en Colombia, o los míos, que soy Esperanza. Y nada, gracias por escuchar. Espero que os haya resultado interesante.
Muchísimas gracias, Esperanza. Now we're gonna go with Rosalía and we're gonna take 10 to 5 minutes more. If the panelists have to go, you can let their emails in the chat so the people can have it. But thank you so much, Esperanza. Now, Rosalia, you can continue.
I promise I'm gonna be very fast, as always. Wait. Just let me know if you can see my screen in presentation mode. Can you?
No,
It's not, no?
no, I don't see it. Now I see it.
But, so now you see it
Yes.
in presentation mode.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you to the Enterprise Europe Network Colombia for the invitation to this webinar, and of course our speakers from CEDETI, Juanfran and Esperanza, for being today with us, and Clement for arranging the whole thing. My name is Rosalia Vicente. I saw in the attendance list that many of you know me already, but I am project manager at Madrid +D, and we are not only coordinators of the Enterprise Europe Network in Madrid, but also national coordinators of the EN in Spain. Furthermore, I'm currently co-chair of the sector group Aerospace and Defense of the Enterprise Europe Network, and I will explain in a second what is the sector group. I'm not going to stop too much about talking about the network because Paola explained it at the beginning of the webinar. But as you know, the EN is the largest network to support the internationalization of SMEs. We are in constant growth, and as you can see, Colombia is now one of our international network partners under the coordination of Impact Hub Colombia. And thanks to this representation, Colombian companies can also access the services of the network in Europe. So for the sector groups, I promised I would explain. We are groups of Enterprise Europe Network advisors or experts working in specific fields with companies and other relevant agents such as clusters, universities, research centers in those specific sectors. Currently, we have 15 sector groups in the Enterprise Europe Network, and they are linked to the European Union industrial ecosystems. We are currently working in the Aerospace and Defense one, and the idea is to work with all these actors I mentioned that are working in the field of aeronautics, space, both upstream and downstream applications, security topics, and some defense-related technologies, including dual-use application. Let's say we work together as a network within the network, within the Enterprise Europe Network, because we meet periodically, twice a year, on site and like more often online. We organize activities, especially designed for our clients in those sectors, facilitate the interactions amongst our ecosystems and clients. And we also identify the most relevant technologies within our environment and share it with our colleagues and clients. For the sector group Aerospace and Defense, this is the current composition. As you can see, we have representation in more than 20 member states. We are 40 highly active members, but we have more registered experts. Some of the most active countries, let's say, are like Spain, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Italy. We have also Greece, the UK. So if you have interest in accessing or like finding partners in any of these countries, we have direct access to Enterprise Europe Network advisors working in the field in the country. So our services are the focus we have currently, and we are always structured alongside one main goal, which is the internationalization of our companies. But we work alongside three main pillars. It's promoting EU-funded programs for research and development projects. Some of the examples are the ones that Clement explained in the beginning, Juanfran and Esperanza also, so we cover all of them. We also facilitate these kind of business, technology, and research and development cooperations or collaborations across Europe and beyond. And we also support like overcoming barriers for accessing new markets. When we are talking about the promotion of European opportunities in terms of EU funds, what we do is basically support our clients in identifying or like mapping all the relevant costs that are existing for the purpose of the project, and support them in selecting which ones are the most adequate for their interest, analyze the project idea, see if the idea is fit for a specific goal for proposals, and support them in the preparation of the proposal itself. We are covering, I included in the top of the slide, some of the programs we are currently working with. Eureka, we cover Eurostars, InnoWide, we work with Horizon Europe, but also with the European Defense Fund, with the ESA programs, and now with the NATO programs. So any interest you might have in those programs, we can reach your EEN advisors. Even if you don't have like a sector group representative in Colombia, they will refer to us and we will try to support you in this activity. I try to illustrate some examples of collaboration in the framework of these programs between the European Union and Colombia, and just like a couple of hours ago. So I found one recent InnoWide project that was funded in the first call. So specifically in the field of aerospace, but it's for smart beach monitoring between a Spanish and a Colombian company, and they already implemented the project successfully. And then in the framework of Horizon Europe, I selected 2 of them that are starting this it's not 24, it's 2024. Sorry, that's a typo. DINOSAR is a 3-year project mainly aimed at developing Copernicus-based algorithms to support smart farming. And the Comunidad project is for use of the combined EGNSS and Copernicus-related platform, both in Chile and Colombia, both for the development of agriculture, forestry, and rural development activities. So these are examples of how Colombian entities can collaborate with not only like Spanish, as Esperanza mentioned, but also European entities. Second of our activities we are having in the Enterprise Group Network is the International Partner Search. We have specific instruments for that normally are in addition to the ones that national contact points or national agencies are offering to the interested companies. First of them is the EN Marketplace. I'm not going to stop too much about this, but we have an official marketplace where we can match offers and requests of business partners, technologies, and research and development requests for specific projects. We manage as Enterprise Europe Network advisors the expressions of interest, and we filter them to make sure that they are relevant for your interest. We also organize matchmaking events, normally in the framework of big international conference, and we offer the opportunity for clients to participate for free, either online and on-site, and have 20, 30 minutes meetings with counterparts that might be future or potential collaborators. We are present in many of the main events across Europe. I'm highlighting 2 of the ones that we are organizing right now for the upcoming months. First of them is the dual use technologies, the space economy, that our colleagues from the Enterprise Europe Network in Andalusia are organizing for the end of October. It's going to be 29th of October. It's a conference on site with major actors in the field of space. But on the 30th and 31st of October, there will be an online B2Match session that you can register to and participate and find potential partners in the field of space. And then the big event we're organizing by the end of this year is the Space Tech Expo brokerage event. It's not open for registration yet, but it will be open on the 30th of this month of September. And it's basically the official brokerage event for the largest dedicated space technology fair across Europe. So if you are working in the field of space and you are interested in like growing internationally, you should probably attend the event and the brokerage. We also, as I mentioned, we are in Space Tech Expo. We will be also working in some defense-related fairs, such as FEINDEF next May in Madrid, and the FEA next May also in Athens. It's a bit an overlap for those big fairs, but we will organize online brokerage events you can participate in if you're interested in the field of defense or dual-use technologies. Another instrument we have are company missions, our mission that we organize similar to what Esperanza mentioned of the Diálogos de Innovación, but we select a group of companies that are working in a specific sector and try to send them to a specific market. We also host reverse missions, which means we can host also groups of companies from Colombia in this case. I wanted to highlight the example we have from this past April, when a delegation from Colombia came to Madrid, to Spain, and visited our colleagues. I think I saw Carlos around there. He's my colleague in charge of the ESA Business Incubation Center in Madrid. So it is an example of some kinds of activities we can do in the framework of the EN. And we have also the Aerospace and Defense Technologies Catalog. This is an initiative we launched last year, and the purpose is to select the best technologies we have across the sector group, put them in a catalog, and disseminate it amongst our colleagues and clients. I think the idea for today was for Clement to share some of these technologies from the catalog, but I don't know if we have a lot of time, so just colleagues from Impact Hub let us know if we can do something.
Thank you, Rosia. Thank you, Juan Fernando Reyes, Clement, and Esperanza Martin. I know that this is a very valuable information. I believe that all the participants live with many important ideas and information that they can apply. As I said before, we will appreciate if you, the panelists, could share their emails, your emails with us via chat, so the assistants can have it. And in the meantime, in the last few minutes, I would like to hear any questions or comments that you assistants have here for our panelists.
I'm sharing my email on the chat, right?
Yes, in the chat. Perfect.
And we will, I don't know, maybe they're interested in receiving the presentations. I have no problem with that if you need to send it to our participants.
Perfect, no problem. We have received it, so thank you. Voy a decirlo en español. No sé si los asistentes del evento tienen alguna duda, alguna pregunta, algo que quieran comentar aquí para nuestros panelistas. Yes, Jesus, we're going to share the presentations. Si quieren, pueden hacer las preguntas también en español, no hay ningún problema. Bueno, si todo quedó claro y no tenemos ninguna pregunta, thank you all for participating, to our panelists, to the companies that are connected to the whole webinar. We invite you to keep in touch with us. We invite you to link the EEN. In the chat, we're gonna share with you our webpage and the email address. You can contact us. And thank you so much to everyone that have been here in the webinar.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you,
Bye.
Caroline.
Thank you very much. Bye.